Joining us are Sergei Strokan, who's a senior journalist from Moscow. He, in fact, will give us perspective from Russia. Also, Major General Sanjay Meston, retired defense expert. He'll also, of course, give us a sense of how he sees things at the moment. But going across first to Sergei, because he's on the ground. Sergei, the first question, of course, that's top of mind as far as everyone is concerned, what everyone seems to be asking, is what is the situation on the ground in Russia at the moment, especially in Rostov?
Actually, the whole story, you see, started in Rostov, which is more than 1,000 kilometers away from Moscow, if you look at the map. Quite a big city. Yevgeny Prigozhin, who is the head of Wagner private military company, openly challenged Russia's defense ministry and top military commanders, saying that he wants to talk to defense minister and that he is getting the full control over the city. However, just more than in a couple of hours after this, President Putin stepped in with his own address to the nation, calling Yevgeny Prigozhin's action treason, while not mentioning him by name. It's a very important thing, because he's a close friend of President, used to be a close friend of President Putin. So, as things stand now, this looks as a sort of a bizarre or polite coup. I can't call it a coup for a number of reasons. First reason is that there's no any fighting. In Rostov, there's no any fighting. While there's a lot of, tanks and armored personnel carriers and people in camouflage, in uniform, at the streets, no one fights with each other. Okay. This is the first point. Second point, that today Prigozhin himself visited the headquarters of the Russian military and talked to them. So they're still communicating, they're still talking, they're still negotiating. Third point is that, as I said, President Putin has thrown his weight to support Russia's military commanders, which in practical terms, that it means that for Yevgeny Prigozhin now the window of opportunities and the options are quite limited. Actually, he has two options: either to hope all this carnage of madness, to lay down arms, and to be punished through legal procedure, still not to emerge as a traitor of Russia. Second option for him, of course, is to go till the very end, to appeal to his die-hard soldiers to support him, and probably to be destroyed in action. There are no other options.
But the question still, Sergei, is has he taken over the military headquarters in Rostov? Are there critical installations that are currently under the Wagner Group's control?
Yeah. Well, in fact, you see, I'm not in Rostov. I don't know who is controlling at the moment military headquarters, but the basic tactics of Russian regular troops was to avoid any fighting with Prigozhin. Okay, that's why probably simply if they are controlling Russia's military headquarters, it means that Russian troops allowed him to do this, still trying to negotiate with him. But of course, if it is true, this is a abnormal situation, because this is a private army. You see, this is a private company. And private company can't impose its will on president, on defense minister, in any country, not only in Russia. And this can't be accepted. So, as I understand, now all sides are trying to find the solution.
Sergei, in your own words, this is a little bizarre, isn't it? Because on the one hand, you're saying that Prigozhin has possibly visited the military headquarters. He's speaking with the Russian military. On the other hand, President Putin goes on national television and calls him a traitor, says that what the Wagner group has done is an act of treason.
Of course. Well, look, the thing is that President is a commander-in-chief. Can you imagine any commander-in-chief who would not step in when some private military warlord is calling defense minister some rascal? So he's using very bad, Prigozhin is using very bad words for defense minister, and Putin trying to put any blames on him. So of course Putin had no option but to step in and to show that he is in full control over the situation. However, I think that if we talk about the phenomenon of Prigozhin, that's a very interesting phenomenon. He used to be a close friend of President Putin. He actually was very useful, you know, in the early months of Russia's military operation in Ukraine. His boys were fighting for Bakhmut, and we have to thank them.
Okay, so there is, of course, that very interesting graph of Prigozhin's that everyone seems to be talking about as well. Sergei, Strokan, thank you so much for joining us.